All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Prosper Nutrition Show, where we want you to prosper and be in health. My name is Jason Steves. I'm a clinical account specialist with Perk Integrative Health, and I'm joined, hang on one second, I'm about to get some noise in here. There we go, got it muted. I'm joined by my co-host, Steve Steves, who is a certified clinical nutritionist and naturopath. He is the owner and founder of Nutrition and Health Center, and we are excited to bring you tips, natural health tips for resolving allergies. Steve, how are you doing this morning?
Well, doing great now that I'm overcoming some allergies
Yeah.
from, my immune system got weak after traveling. We're going to talk about those things that weaken immunity and how you can strengthen them. And then got back to Houston after being out of town, and it affected me pretty heavily for 3 or 4 days. So I got a long story about that. I look forward to sharing it with everybody because that's what happens when people move to Houston.
Yeah.
They're going to have allergies like they've never had before, which I did within 10 days of moving here,
Yeah.
and have learned to live healthfully. But at times it just gets so difficult, our lifestyle. And as we get older, your immune system is more delicate. We have to take better care of it. Some of us have more delicate systems than others. So just all these factors are going to improve your risk to allergy. I have some clients that say, just because I started your vitamin C, I no longer have allergies, and because I eliminated these foods. And so some people are simple in their ability to overcome their allergic
Right.
weaknesses. But
Right.
others, it's a lot more complex. They need
Yeah.
a full spectrum of support, which we're going to get into that today.
Right. Yeah.
Something,
Everybody's
some,
different. Go ahead.
yeah, something we're going to share today is going to help everyone listening.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Everybody has unique needs, but there a lot of what we need to adjust individually that's different is really it's from a base of information, principles that we're all designed uh, upon, right? These
Yes,
principles of in nature and creation and
good
right,
word.
we're all designed upon these things. And what we've learned is that there's a lot of these principles revealed in the Bible. We've learned about a lot of these principles through the Bible, and it's pretty amazing. We've distilled a lot of these principles that we've learned not just through the Bible, but also through 30 years of clinical work at the Nutrition and Health Center. So we're not just, this spiritual woo-woo. We're actually looking at information and data, people's results and science and things like that to get confirmation as well as to it's kind of like measuring things, right? Steve, you often share that quote, right? What gets measured, what gets tested gets better, what gets tested and repeated gets better faster.
Yes.
Right? And so that's essentially what the science, the evidence that we follow. The people who do good science, that's the way they do it. They have a something that they're observing, they test it, they measure it, and then they repeat it so that they can see the evidence and its manifestation. So that's
Yeah.
that's essentially what we're doing is we're looking at principles and evidence in the way that we help people improve their health. And
We'll
you know
share some of that evidence. For example, associated with zinc. There's an amazing study that they did on kids that were picky eaters. Now, many of you might
yeah.
be familiar with the loss of taste sensation when you get the flu. The immune system uses up a lot of zinc. Zinc is used for so many different enzymes in the body. It's constantly used and flushed and used and flushed out of the body. So we've got to replenish, replenish, replenish. Just like you need to drink more water, you need to eat more food, you need to breathe more air. The body
Mm,
needs nutrients. So I'm looking forward to getting into those principles completely. I know We got a lot. Do you want to cover the whole article that I wrote, Jason? I know we got a good
We
article.
may not be able to cover all of it, but yeah, we're going to cover. We've got a great article here that we're going to be going through. Let me share the screen here so that y'all can see. Steve put this article together. It's a great article, Nutrition Foundations for Immune Health. And we're going to cover questions about allergies right here. This is the first question you have. Do you have allergies or asthma, right? So we're going to be getting into this information a little bit today. With anything that we cover, we really often can only scratch the surface in the amount of time we have on the show. We're here for about 20, 30 minutes on the show. So we can really only scratch the surface. But if you stay tuned every Thursday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, we're going to be diving into these topics more and more. And we can get a little deeper if you join us every Thursday at 10 and type in your questions in the chat. Or you can send us questions via email, info@prospernutrition.com. We would love to answer your questions live. We're going to be having more guests on, and we'd love to have you on as a guest. If you've taken the Prosper Nutrition supplements, if you're a client at the Nutrition and Health Center, let us know. We'd love to have you on and hear your testimony of healing and hear how you have been, improving your health and the tips and strategies and principles you've used and, encourage others with that testimony. That's what we're trying to do every day is share our own testimony. Steve's testimony has been impactful to help lead this work going forward, and it's a blessing to be a part of this. Steve's life and his transformation from a disease, a crippling disease, ankylosing spondylitis. Most people get crippled and die young of that disease, and you're now well into your 60s and you're in vibrant health and so this is something that we want to share with the world, and so we're very excited about you improving and prospering and being in health. So back to what we are saying here, we're going to be talking about allergies and how you can some tips you can use to help you resolve I think we use the word resolve, right? To
Yeah.
resolve allergies during these difficult seasons, right? You notice this, Steve. You've shared it with me often. It's oftentimes during these seasons where the pollen is at a higher count, where you have the a little bit weaker immune system as a result. So why don't you explain what that means and how people can kind of be more aware of that and what they can do, essentially what they can do as to helping, prepare for those seasons.
Within the article, we talk about the immune system has kind of three aspects to it, how it operates. It defends us. It also repairs damage that
Mm,
happened due to everyday impact of the environment. And then it communicates. It's constantly sending out inflammatory signals to bring correction.
mm,
So the defense, repair, and communication process needs to be supported. When we're dealing with a constant barrage of defending, we need a lot of ammunition. We need a lot of nutrition. We need a lot of rest. We need a lot of uh, hydration and so forth. I even noticed with this last bout of getting allergies coming back on me after the trip up north, there was a lot of things that weakened my immune system up there in cold country that we weren't prepared for, but and just pushing yourself more outside of your norm. The immune system is very delicate for some, and I needed more vitamin C, and that's why that vitamin C calibration flush is the first thing we go to reset the immune system, and it does wonders. I noticed I felt like my colon was congested yesterday, took extra vitamin C and eliminated, started to open things up. But then the best way to do the C cleanse and to recalibrate and kind of open up the body is to do it first thing in the morning. Do it when you get up. Take extra C until you reach a watery stool. Flush out that colon. Clear the mucous membranes, at least that burden that you're seeing from the environment. The pollen that's coming in the mucous membranes of the lung, that's one burden, but you also have the digestive remnants from your meals that are a burden. So everything creates a burden on the body that the body has to defend against or repair. And so you've got to constantly be aware of the burden of fecal material sitting in the colon causing toxicity and weakening immunity. That way, when you get allergen exposure, the fuel that the immune responding cell needs is adequate with
Yeah.
enough vitamin C. And
Yeah. What?
you've fueled, you've reached your body's systematic amount of vitamin C for the moment because you purge out all the excess. All the maximum energy that the body could utilize in the colon is flushed out. And then, of course, you get then the extra remnant of vitamin C coming in, fueling white blood cells. Be aware of this. White blood cells utilize the neutrophil, the bacteria fighter, utilizes 30 times more vitamin C within it than
Mm,
any cell in our body. So vitamin C is just not something we take when we are starting to feel sick. Your body demands it constantly to defend, repair, communicate, and also for connective tissue. Your body uses vitamin C to make collagen and repair the connective tissue throughout the body. I think it's one of the issues that the connective tissue disease I was diagnosed with is no longer a disease because I'm so adamant at keeping my ascorbate vitamin C levels where they need to be. So
yeah.
we can't say enough over and over again that vitamin C ascorbate, a fully reduced ascorbate that we get in our formula, vitamin C max, is superior to anything out there. Try it and try to prove to us that there is something better out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
You will not be able to do it. You'll see
Uh,
your immune system's healthier, your allergic response is much cleaner, and you feel better. Just everything about the way that ascorbate activates the body is remarkable.
It is amazing, and we say that because we've spent the years trying to find the best products, and we've spent the years talking with other people, and even people who I've spoken with who are part representatives or working with other companies, coming to me and coming to our company wanting to use our vitamin C when they have vitamin C with their company. So there is a big difference with our vitamin C Max product, and it's amazing. But I was sharing this visual. I don't know if you saw it, Steve. I think you did. But this is kind of what you can kind of think about as a allergy response. But one of the things you want to keep in mind, Steve did mention the vitamin C is essential, but one of the things you want to keep in mind is knowing that these hyperallergic responses don't necessarily need to happen. Now, your body is going to be exposed to an allergen. Each year, you're going to be, I mean, daily, you're going to be exposed to what you would say allergens. They're called antigens, right? They're items in your environment that your body and your immune cells identify as not self, right? So is your immune system going to identify that not self, and if it's food, use the food as nutrition and helping nourish the body? But if it's not food, if it's something that needs to be removed, then is it going to healthfully remove it? Is it going to identify it, contain it, and purge it out of the system without an allergic or a hyper response? Because that's the key, right? And you know this, Steve. Like, the key is to have the health so that your body's able to recognize and remove those things that are not self and that are not food, that are not useful for us, and do that in a way that's not adding more burden, right? Adding more histamine load and more immune burdening load on the body, more inflammation, essentially. So we want to reduce that burden. And if we have a healthier immune system, this is a way you can think about it. An immune system that is more tolerant, right? That is less reactive, that is more, I guess you could say it's more hardy. It's more relaxed in that it's strong and able to do its job, but it's able to do it easily, right? And so a lot of people think, well, I just need to boost my immune system. So let me take, and they take some synthetic things, to boost their immune system. But we don't want to just boost the immune system. We want to provide the immune system with the information and nutrients so that it can have the strength and intelligence to identify what's not self and is not useful food or nutrients and get it out of the body without any overreactions. And that's one way that I think can be helpful. And tolerance is an interesting word these days, politically. People are saying, well, we need to be more tolerant. But what are they meaning? Because a lot of times these people that are saying we need to be more tolerant, they're intolerant of other people and their opinions. And so this is something that we have to be aware of. We have to be self-aware and we have to understand like, okay, am I really tolerant? And this is has to do with our immune system too. Is our immune system tolerant, meaning it says this is not self, this is needs to be removed, I can't use it, and does it without overreacting and causing any problems, right?
That's a good
So,
parallel
yeah.
analogy.
Yeah. So that's something
So,
that I think is very useful for people to know. And when you're properly nourished, when you're following these lifestyle principles that are in the Seven Proven Steps guidebook, you can download at prospernutrition.com for free. Seven Proven Steps guidebook will help you implement the lifestyle changes that help your immune system be at its best. But yeah, Steve, why don't you fill in? I know you had a thought there. What were you going to share?
well, I'm glad you finished on your just mentioning the seven proven steps. So I want to hit a highlight on each one of those steps and roll into then
Yeah.
the bundle and the nutrition products for immunity so that the people can take advantage of the coupon that you're going to provide at the end.
Yes.
The immune system is highly benefited by a Mediterranean diet. There's a link in the article about how it lowers inflammation naturally, which is an overreactive immune system or an intolerant immune system, as you say. And
Mm-hmm.
then, of course, there's an article on how exercise reduces inflammation and inflammation specifically in the allergenic air pathways. So that's
Yeah.
another good reason for people who don't exercise to get with it.
Yeah.
Just got to stay. I noticed as soon as I got back into exercise how much better I felt. And I stayed active on our trip, but I was kind of down in the dumps for a couple of days and wasn't moving around. And as soon as I got back to doing some movement, so much better did
Yeah.
I. Now there is a catch 22 scenario with sleep. People who don't get enough sleep have weaker immunity, and improved immunity is found when you obviously get more sleep. But the immune system does interfere with sleep when it is allergic and intolerant. The histamines, if they're
Yeah.
responding excessively, it's an excitatory neurotransmitter and it often wakes people up at night. So they need more tryptophan support, which is actually in our sleep and calm. And if you were to say, should that be a part of your immune bundle? It really should, because people need to sleep well in all scenarios. But keep that in mind, folks. Using tryptophan and the form of vitamin B6 to enhance its metabolizing to melatonin. Excuse me.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Sleep is so essential. I mean, it's interesting because sleep is kind of a thing where people are like, some people have difficulty falling asleep, some people have difficulty staying asleep, and their health suffers because their sleep isn't quality, but they're not getting quality sleep sometimes because they're not doing other things, not exercising. So they're all needing to be worked on together. It's good to focus on one thing at a time because one thing does help the others, but that's something with sleep. A lot of times, doctors will say, hey, well, if we just focus on getting your sleep right, then all the other things are going to be improved. Well, yes, but you need to exercise in order to sleep better. You need proper
Right.
nutrition in order to sleep better. So, yeah, these are good points you're bringing up. I think that people need to really think about. It's really, really important.
In the article, we also talk about how immune suppression is caused by medication.
Hmm.
People are relying on antibiotics and non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs obsessively, and they're just making it worse. I did that for years, folks. It's a trap. You gotta start setting your stage into more helpful antimicrobial invasion with immune bundles from Prosper Nutrition and
Hmm.
getting away from these drugs that are weakening immunity and setting you up for cancer. We got two dear friends that we've known for years found out in the last week, they both have been diagnosed with cancer. So if the tolerance of immune system was strong enough and we weren't weakening immunity with medications over the counter, we would be able to tolerate and overcome disease and not be disease, as that was God's promise from his word. We get into
Right.
the spiritual part of it. We're fearfully and wonderfully made. We're created in God's image. We were created for health, not disease.
Mm,
God's promise is no disease will come upon you, for I am the Lord who heals you if you follow in his ways. It's a conditional statement that he made. You are responsible for the temple he's given you to take care of it. And we
right.
can't just show up in the prayer line. For example, if we've got lung cancer and we've been smoking a pack of cigarettes every day, and uh, I don't think God's going to honor that prayer.
Well,
But
yeah, I mean, there are times where Jesus did heal some people who are ready, but he said, "Your faith has made you well," and then he also said, "Go and sin no more." So
yeah,
those essentially things mean what? Well, the faith means they were doing something in order to get better, right? Faith is faith is something that is shown by our works. So he was saying that because they were doing something. They were trying
amen.
their best and then they sought him, right?
Yes,
And
sir.
then
Good
your
word.
and then go and sin no more. Jesus was like, look, you know, some of those people he knew that part of the issue that was causing their problems was what they were doing, the choices they were making. And so he was saying, you need to change. You have to turn away from making those bad choices. So,
So, so Jason, stress handling is another factor. There's more detail in the article on that. But I
okay.
wanted to, we were talking about the negative influence of medication, but lifestyle interventions of getting tested. You opened up the talk today on that issue.
Yeah.
The ELISA lymphocyte response assay is a food and chemical sensitivity test that provides the right kind of answers because you may not know what you should be or shouldn't be eating. And specific for you, it can be identified. Now, you may have had some food allergy tests in the past that
Hmm.
measured only about 20 or 30% of your immune system with either an IgG RAS test, a skin prick, or maybe you did a blood test and just did some IgG or IgM, IgA antibodies. But you want to measure the delayed immune complexes, which make up more than two-thirds
Mm,
of the immune system. You may not know what they are. You could eat something today and wake up with a sinus infection tomorrow morning. And that has happened to me in the past. But so
yeah.
I need to know and keep on top of my immune system, what's triggering it. It could be a mold, could be a chemical in food, it could be a preservative. Many chemicals in foods, preservatives are tested molds of the like in the ELISA lymphocyte response assay. So I encourage that.
Right.
Uh, very There's no immune test out there like it
Yeah,
is.
it's an amazing test. I mean, most people are, like you said, familiar with food sensitivity testing. It's usually very limited in the way that the amount of immune system that it's looking at, but even the technology it's using to look at that part of the immune system is very inaccurate because it's an indirect, often usually it's an indirect measurement or it's dead blood, it's serology. So the important thing for you to know with the LRA, the difference there is it's live blood tests. So it's very similar to what the body is going to be doing. So it's very, very accurate as well because of the technology with the LRA test it's used. It's a single step method. So it's basically reducing all as much possibility for errors. And with any test, there's nothing that's exactly precise, right? There's nothing that's going to tell you 100% it's always this. There's no test in existence. It's important for you to know that. Most people they think, well, let me find this test, all tests do the same thing. They have this mindset like, well, this the smart people figured it out and this is it. And so, but the reality, what is the reality of how these tests work? Well, the reality is there are ranges, right? There are margins for error, and there are with the immune tests, most of them you're going to get 20 to 50% variance from day to day. So for example, with these food sensitivity tests, these companies that are marketing online, a lot of these companies, they're testing IgG immune response. That method, at best, it's going to be 20% different from one day to the next. So, like 20% of the items that you test are going to be different if you tested today and then tomorrow. So, why is that so different? Well, it's probably because the testing method, and it really is this way. The testing method is not getting a really precise reaction that the body is truly having. Well, the LRA test, if you test today and then test tomorrow, the most difference that you're going to have is 3%, just 3%. So it's very, very, very small amount. And that's as close that Dr. Jaffe, who created the test, he could get in the accuracy with this LRA test. So it's pretty amazing. And it's definitely something that can help you fast forward your health because you start finding those foods, even healthy foods. Like when I did mine, salmon came up as a reaction for my immune system. Lemon, garbanzo beans, right? These are healthy foods that I was eating regularly. But for some reason, my immune system was telling me, okay, right now we can't tolerate that. And then I avoided those for 3 to 6 months, and my immune system got healthier. I had a skin issue that resolved. So my repair from exercise was much quicker. Joint aches and pains were improved, substantially, I noticed. So these are just examples, and I was fairly healthy. There are other individuals, you may be dealing with some really difficult diseases, and you can see some great improvement if with these just small tweaks. I didn't have very, very large, tweaks that I needed to make to my lifestyle. And I remember when I did it, I don't know if I told you, Steve, but my mindset was like, I'm just gonna do my best. I'm not going to stress about it. I'm not gonna really like, totally transform my life because I was fairly healthy, but I thought I just want to see what it does for me if I just do my best to avoid these items. And it really made a big difference. Within that dry skin underneath my eye, it was like a pink, itchy sometimes.
Yeah, I remember it.
Went away within weeks. And I was dealing with that for like 6 months. And um, so yeah, that's I wanted to share that because your immune system is so important to help you repair from all lifestyle related diseases. This is the main killers, right? The heart disease, cancer, diabetes, right? These are the diseases that are killing the most people in the United States and the world today. It's not these, they call infectious diseases, right? These are not the big killers. The big killers are the lifestyle diseases that are impacted by your immune system. So, um, yeah. So
Hey,
kind of went
moving
on there.
on
Mhm.
from that, I know you're pretty passionate about that test and its value, and you see that every day in the people that we're working with. The um, the impact on hydration, another key component. There's an article link in here about how people with the coronavirus had optimal hydration levels. Water keeps things moving through the immune system. Folks got to stay on top of that. And then as we get into supplements, the first one we mentioned, we had a little discussion at the beginning, vitamin C and C flushes. But let's talk about some of these other nutrients that are in the bundle. Magnesium, really important. Muscle function needs magnesium, and of course,
Mm,
the cell signaling requires it. It's important for blood sugar control, and the lack of magnesium leads to immunopathological changes
mm,
that ultimately cause inflammation and weaker immunity. So, magnesium's been cited by the medical literature for support of pediatric and adult gastroenterology disorders
mm.
associated with dysbiosis. There's often dysbiosis in the gut when people just don't take adequate amounts of magnesium, but also the probiotic. Now, the
Right.
probiotic is that I'm not sure, is that in the bundle?
Let's see here.
it's in the digestion bundle, but I don't think
Oh,
it's
it's not
in.
an immune bundle, but it's an important immune
Yeah,
product. And
it's in the article because of its important in mucosal health and protecting us from the outside environment. So it's listed there, and there's other wonderful honorable mentions in addition to what's in the bundle. I know pure omega 3 is in there. The cell membranes for cell signaling require pure omega 3. Pure omega 3, I don't know if we included it in all of our bundles, but it really should be. We're just trying to set up foundations that people need to rely
right.
on.
Yeah. The bundles are starting points. That is for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, the cell repair, which is now receiving a new name, quercetin repair, because most people know about quercetin
Yeah.
and its immune anti-inflammatory effect. It's very powerful at
Yeah.
cell communication for the uptake of zinc into the cell and for the permeability of cell surfaces. It's remarkable.
Right. Yeah. Because the word quercetin got popular, especially during COVID. People were hearing about quercetin a lot more. And so we've had this formula for a long time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so this is something we knew about. I mean, it's interesting. I remember how in years past, each season we would do an educational bit on whatever the new virus was, right? I remember we were like did something on the swine flu and something on the
Yeah. Yeah.
Zika flu and something on there's all these things coming through the pipe. And we were constantly educating people on how to get their immune system healthy and they wouldn't need to worry about these viruses because their body's able to handle it. So, yeah, quercetin is this will cell repair will be called quercetin repair very soon. We'll be making that shift. So, stay tuned if you are keeping up with our products. Just keep that in mind.
Now, we also put Liver Protect into the immune article because of its antioxidant support. It's got so much availability of things like coenzyme Q10, carnitine, vitamin D3 is in there, vitamin E, tocopherols, which are all that tocopherol E, but the all the carotenoids that are in
Hmm.
the vitamin A family, those are immune enhancing. So we encourage you to be on Liver Protect in the middle of this toxic world that we live in. Of course, the probiotic is listed there. We mentioned the omega. And
Hmm.
then B12 is put in there because of the need of the bone marrow and the mast cells, not just mast cells for immunity, but also for the what's stem cells and their activation of new cell production. You know, your body's making 115,000 approximate new white blood cells every second of the day. So
Hmm.
that process requires B12 for replication, that mitosis replicating of cells. So B12 is a must. It's one of the most deficient vitamins that people don't efficiently metabolize. And many of you might have heard of methyl defects and SNPs,
Hmm.
single nucleotide proteins, polymorphisms.
Hmm.
Those are dysfunctional cellular activation, but all you have to do is keep feeding the body quality levels of ascorbate, of vitamins B12, and using the hydroxyform to make sure that you get good cell activation for new cell production and immune support. And then we include our vitamin D3 max, which is a liquid that has about 5,000 or 500 units in one single drop of vitamin D3. So there's so much that is here, and I take every one of these on an ongoing basis because of autoimmune disease that I was diagnosed with. But whether you're dealing with viruses, autoimmune disease, allergies, immune support is well provided with the Prosper Nutrition line of products. And if you get outside of that realm, maybe you've been diagnosed with cancer, or maybe you've been diagnosed with more severe condition, you wonder, well, will this help? Of course, this will. These are foundational nutrients that help your body to repair itself, to defend itself, to communicate, and to control inflammation. It's
Mhm.
constantly
Yeah.
doing that. We just have to give it these foundational nutrients that get the job done. And that's
Right.
why our product line doesn't have a lot of products.
Hmm.
If you've got good quality foundational nutrients that are biologically active, you don't need anything else. You rarely need any other nutrients besides that baseline support that we provide with prospernutrition.com.
That's
So
right.
I use all the products and I encourage you to as well. And I know you have a coupon to.
Yes, yeah, I was just about to mention that. I just posted in the chat. If you have any questions, type it into the chat. We'd love to answer any questions you might have. But the coupon code for today, if you're still watching, thank you for sticking around. The coupon code for today on any of the products we talked about, any of the products in the store at this point, you can actually get 10% off for this next week. You use the coupon code 3, it's today's date, 3/21/24 show. 3/21/24 show. You get 10% off the Prosper Nutrition supplements. You use that coupon code at checkout after you've put all your products into the shopping cart on the prospernutrition.com store. So if you have any questions, if you have any concerns, feel free to reach out to us, info@prospernutrition.com. We're a family owned and operated company. We're here for you. We're not going anywhere. Our plans are to stick around for generations to come. We're not going to sell. That's our goal, is to maintain the quality supplements because we want to maintain our health. We don't want to just build a company in order to make money. We want to earn what we believe is fair to earn and do business, but we also want to make sure that we maintain the quality, and that takes some work and it takes us staying involved. So
You know,
we're here.
Jason,
We're
when you
here.
said that, sorry to mean to interrupt. I got
No, go
excited when you
ahead.
said,
Mhm.
um, yes, it's all in our family, but folks, we just want to adopt you into our healthy family
Mm.
and make you a part of that and be the
Yeah,
support for you. That's why we're doing this. And it's so
exactly.
rewarding, to meet with folks like this week. I had a girl testify who had had headaches every day. This was the second person with headache problems in the last 2 weeks. And a month ago, she started on her Prosper Nutrition product line, and the headache stopped the first day. And all month, she had no headaches. And she had had headaches every day for years. I did get a little video snippet from her, Jason, that we can
Oh,
upload that.
that's great.
So we just love adopting folks. They're grateful. They know that put,
Mm.
we put our heart and our soul into this work because we see the gift of God that's been given to us, and we want to spread that gift around. That's why we've been given gifts, so that the world would know that we worship and love our God that is the big gift giver. Thank
Yeah.
you, God. We
Hmm.
bless you. We thank you for everybody watching today. We just bless them, Lord. Send them out with the faith to believe and know that you have made them fearfully and wonderfully, and you put the same power in them that rose Jesus from the dead, and he will quicken, your spirit will quicken their mortal bodies so that they can be healed and delivered in Jesus' name.
All right. Thank you,
Amen.
Steve.
My
Amen. Thank you.
pleasure.
Thank y'all for watching. Take care of your immune health. You don't have to be dealing with allergies, and you can resolve it naturally with these tips that we talked about today. Lifestyle changes, the 7 proven steps. Download it for free at prospernutrition.com. And then you can get Prosper Nutrition supplements and feel the difference. We have about a 30-day supply for each product, give or take a few days. Some of them are a little bit longer, but it's a great opportunity. We've got 10% off for this next week if you use the coupon code 3/21/24 show and start feeling the difference and seeing what our clients and ourselves experience on a daily basis with these lifestyle changes and these quality supplements. So thank you all for watching. We hope that you prosper and be in health, and join us next week, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time on Thursday